Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to what is our 34th annual Volunteers of Spooner Health Love Light Ceremony. Can't tell you how exciting it is to be here doing this in person this year, after I believe it was 4 years of doing it virtually due to the pandemic and everything. So it's just great to see the turnout we have here and have you all here to support our volunteer organization, Love Light Ceremony. I'd like to kick this off with just a few thank yous, people that make this possible. First, recognizing Tim Kern for the beautiful music that he provided for us. Tim has been a part of this ceremony for a long time, providing music, and we appreciate everything you've done to support us in this. I'd also like to thank Betsy Andrea. Betsy has been the chair of this for the volunteer group for 15 years, so appreciate the work you put into this. Her daughter Jennifer Ripley is here helping as well today. Also like to recognize TJ Edwards. TJ Edwards has donated the beautiful tree that is up front that will be lit during this ceremony, so when you leave you'll be able to see our Love Light tree actually lit. It's a gorgeous tree. And a special thanks to our plant ops department, Dave and his crew, who worked with TJ to get the tree here and get it set up. Get it lit and set us up here today for what's going on here. So thanks to all of those. Always nice to kind of go back and look at why we do the Love Light ceremony. First and foremost, it's an opportunity to recognize loved ones that we have, whether it be those that have passed, those we want to honor, or those that have served in the military. And what are the funds used for? Our volunteer group for years has done scholarships for students that are interested, high school students graduating that are interested in going into a healthcare professional. So it's really our volunteer group and those who purchase lights doing a great job of helping, we call it grow our own, but to get the next generation of healthcare workers, help them out as they go to school. So for those of you that have donated and the volunteers that are here, thank you for supporting something that is so needed in healthcare, but also so needed by these students who are rewarded with scholarships. With that, I'm going to move right to our keynote speaker. Very happy to have with us today Mike Knox. Mike is well known to us around Spooner Health. We've known Mike for a long time. I heard you 28 years, I believe, in Spooner, you said earlier about it. He is the pastor of the River Wesleyan Church in Minong. He's been a pastor for over 25 years, spent 11 years as a missionary in Nicaragua. And Mike and his wife Amy, who happens to be an employee of our home care department, happy to have her there. They have 3 adult children and many grandchildren. And with that, I will turn over to Mike for our inspirational message.
Well, good afternoon. We'll see how well I can do at inspiring you this morning, this afternoon. You know, it happens to all of us sooner or later. Some of you are already there and others maybe have a few years to go. But it dawned on me recently that I have entered that stage of life in which my parents' generation are dying. So I'm a pastor. I've done my share of funeral services over the years. But these days I find myself a little bit more pensive than perhaps I have been before as I think about the legacy of people who have impacted my life in a much heavier way. So many memories. Memories that flood my mind, not so much of great momentous occasions, you know, the ones that you memorialize with a framed picture on the wall, but more than that, it's those little incidents, the things that just happen simply because we've been sharing life together. And so while I think it's true that there are always a few of us who make an outsized impact on the world, most of us simply leave behind that simple, life-transforming impact on a few people who will never forget us. I think that's what the Love Light tree is all about, really, right? Each light on that tree shines in memory of or in honor of a person who has made an indelible mark on the life of another person. And so we're here today because people have shaped our lives. We're here today because we live in community together. We were talking earlier about some of us are transplants, some of us are natives, but I've been here long enough it feels like I've never lived anywhere else. Because we need each other. We depend on each other. We live together in community. It strikes me that in the United States, there are simultaneous and competing values that seem to define us. On the one hand, we celebrate our rugged individualism, right? It is definitely deeply ingrained in the ethos of the rural Midwest. We take care of ourselves, we are can-do people, and we don't really need other people meddling in our lives. But at the same time, we desperately crave community. We need each other. And so our rugged individualism gives way to neighboring as we look out for one another and care for each other. The fact is, we're social creatures, aren't we? We were made for relationship with one another. That's why there are so many lights on that tree out there, because people matter to us. And I think about a hospital, Spooner Health. By its very nature, this is a place where people care for people. If you've ever been really sick, if you've ever made a trip to the emergency room in some sort of a crisis, if you've ever been hospitalized, you know how quickly everything can shift from having life by the tail, as it were, to suddenly being completely dependent on other people to do for you the things that you can't do for yourself. And so those are the moments, aren't they, when we really appreciate what a great blessing it is to live in community with other people who care. And here it is, Christmas time, hard to believe. Summer wasn't that long ago, was it? But Christmas time, no matter where you fall in your spiritual beliefs, Christmas historically is the time when we remember that Jesus came down into our world as a baby, dependent on others for everything, but also to do for us what we cannot do for ourselves. And so it was Jesus who famously said that healthy people don't need a doctor. It's the sick ones who need a doctor. And at Christmas time, we give gifts to one another as expressions of our love and honor, our desire to recognize who they are and the difference that they make in our lives. And so these relationships, whether they're here in the hospital community, in the families that we all are a part of, in our work communities, in our neighborhoods, the larger community, all of these relationships are part of the fabric of our lives. It's what makes us who we are. And so today, we remember those whose lives have made a mark on our own, and we honor those who are making a mark on us even right now, and we recognize the service of those who defend us, both past and present. And we do so in a way that seeks to ensure that this hospital can continue to be a vital part of a thriving community. Mike just talked about that. We want to be a place where despite the vast range of our personalities and interests and all of the things that make us unique, we also all come together and take care of each other. We make our marks on each other's lives. And that's not just for today. The Love Light Tree remembers people who have gone before us, to be sure, but it also looks ahead to those who will come after us. So the lights on the tree are an investment in the training and in the formation of people who will join our community of care, particularly in the medical profession. I've lived here in Spooner long enough to see people come and go as they grow up and graduate from high school. I love the fact that so many of our young people who grow up in our community go off to other places in pursuit of their dreams. It means that we've equipped them well to go conquer the world, if you will. And the Love Light scholarships are an important part of that. But I also love the fact that a number of our young people eventually come back home. They come back because this is a great place to raise a family. And these connections that we have with each other, they matter a lot, a whole lot. And so people are drawn back to where they were shaped and formed. Legacy and community are fostered right here. And we bless one another. We shape each other for the better. We're all in this together, aren't we? And I'm glad that we are. So Merry Christmas. And as Tiny Tim said, may God bless us, everyone.
Thank you, Mike, for that message. Greatly appreciated. before I get to the reading of the names, those of you that know me, well, I take notes and I try to follow notes, and then I skip my notes and kind of ramble on different things. But I did miss a couple very important people that I want to recognize helping make this Love Light ceremony possible. Emily Staria, who's our administrative assistant, and Michelle Martin, who's our director of PR, do a lot of work to support the volunteers in this organization, so thank you. And probably embarrass someone, but also recognize Diane Noah. It is great to have you here again today. Diane headed this Love Light ceremony up for a number of years prior to Betsy for our volunteer organization. So it's great to have you here too. So I think Mike did a great job of talking a little about why we have these lights. So I am honored, as I am every year lately, to be able to read the names of those who have been recognized by our donors. Starting with in memory of Robert Adamino, Keith Anderson, Frank Andrea, Rita Andrea, Ron Andrea, Stephanie Beidler, Joe Brebick, Gerald Brown, Scott Budge, Agnes Burnham, Alan Burnham, Charles Burnham, Patricia Carson, Edward Cartier, Father Dick Cartier, Mary Cartier, Chad Cloward, Gwen Cloward, Marlo Cloward, Jerry Davidson, Vicki Davidson, Carson Deershaw, Ruth Drinkwater, Virgil Drinkwater, Fern Durand, Gib Durand, Richard Durand, Glenda Eck, Alan Fair, Annette Ford, Dennis Ganser, Virginia Ganser, John Hack, Gary Haynes, Barb Hartman, Craig Hawkinson, Chuck Haynes, Betty Heim, Don Heim, Charles Hendricks, Lorraine Hill, Marie Hill, Father Jim Jackson, Doris Gibbon, Harold Gibbon, Pat Johnson, Steve Johnson, Kelly Johnston, Violet Koenig, Alan Laird, Eileen Laird, Donna Lake, David Larson, Leslie Larson, Donald Lawrence, Andy Lawton, Richard Lester, Gilbert Livingston, Carol Mahoney, Phil Markren, Dale Martin, Eunice Marty, Linda Masesio, David Masterjohn, Fran Masterjohn, Nick Masterjohn, Rosalie Mayer, Bob McConnell, Joanne McConnell, Larry McConnell, Bud McClellan, Lou McClellan, Tom Meyer, Ronald Melton, Luis Morse, Don No, Mary Jane No, Ruth Nutt, Henry Paskey, Kathy Paskey, Mabel Paskey, Roger Paskey, Anna Pearson, Cheryl Pearson, Doug Pearson, Howard Pearson, Vern Peck, John Peterson, William Pfluger, Bill Passo, Margot Passo, Nathan Passo, Crystal Potter, Tom Rakestraw, Louise Robertson, James Root, Ruth Ryberg, Joseph Sadowski, Don Scalzo, Leonard Scalzo, Nancy Scalzo, Dwayne Schaefer, Scott Schaefer, Merla Scheider, Virgil Scheider, Sonia Schultz, Bradley Schultz, Jean Semenko, Ellen Segrist, Ingeborg Segrist, Jeff Smith, Jimmy Smith, Lester Smith, Russell Smith, Shirley Smith, Walker Smoot, Ed Stahl, George T. Stahl, Don Staria, Sue Staria, Wayne Stevenson, Linda Stone, Mark Sundin, Merlin Swan, Dorothy Switzer, Bruce Vanden Avond, Kim Van Gilder, John Jack Valella, Judy Vicenda, Gloria Voigt, Phyllis Weber, John Worley, Lois Worley, Danny Wienert, Don Wienert, and loved ones, in memory of. In honor of emergency services personnel, law enforcement, William Pfluger, Marlene Swearingen, Spooner Health Board of Directors, staff at Spooner Health, volunteer chaplains of Spooner Health, volunteers of Spooner Health, and Yazel family, in honor of. And in peace service, Bernard Bernier, Jim Dienstl, Keith Dienstl, Dan Gabrielson, Tom Hansen, Reed Hill, Steve Murphy, William Pfluger, Dave Semenko, Peace, and William Melvoit, in peace or service. Well, with that, to end this brief ceremony, I would like to thank you all first, for those of you that supported through the purchasing of Love Lights. Thank you. As I said earlier, your contributions go to a great cause, scholarship cause. I'd like to also thank those of you that were able to attend today. It's great to see people here again, as I said, and to not be doing this remotely this year. The tree is now officially lit, so you should be able to see it on your way out to see just how beautiful that tree is. And we'll close, just a reminder, we have a silent auction going on, if you don't know about that. Also as part of the fundraising that our volunteers do. It closes at 3 o'clock, but a lot of baskets put together by volunteers and departments of the hospital. Have a chance to bid on those. There's refreshments to help yourself too. And we're going to have Tim with a little more music as we wind down. So once again, thank you all for being here, and I wish you all a very happy holidays and Merry Christmas.